Iowa football just got a double dose of good news following that monster win over Nebraska. Let's talk about it. My name's Paul, together with my buddy Aaron. We are the Big Ten guys. Tune in daily for the latest Big Ten news, insights, and analysis. If you're an Iowa football fan or a fan of any Big Ten school, take just a second, like and subscribe. And then comment below, what were your thoughts on the game? Final thoughts on this Hawkeye regular season? We always just enjoy talking football with you, and then just any thoughts you have about what you think Iowa needs to do in the off season. But let's get into the game a little bit. So the biggest takeaway I have, and the biggest bit of good news I think Iowa fans can kind of hang their hat on going into next season, is you saw not one but two different players kind of dominate that game who you know are coming back next year. So the first one was obviously Kamari Moulton. Didn't find the end zone a ton this year, but was an absolute dog. You see that growth with him. And he looks like the next great Iowa running back. Big season this year. You might even get 2 more years out of him. But I think you can feel super confident this Iowa running game is going to be a force to be reckoned with next year. And then the other big player that you saw today was DJ Vonami. That move he had on the 35-yard touchdown was dirty. Just made Nebraska's secondary look silly there. And honestly, like for all the struggles Nebraska have had, especially recently, they have a very good secondary, and it has been hard to pass on them this year. So for Vonami to go off for almost 100 yards on a touchdown the way he did is big time. Obviously, he's just a freshman, but he really looks like the next great Iowa tight end. Like Iowa the last 20, 30 years truly has been tight end university, and DJ Vonami looks like that next guy. And then the other bit of good news before we kind of get into the offseason a little bit is just looking at who Iowa is going to play next year. So like this season was all about these tight, close losses. Like they played 4 teams who were ranked at the time of playing them, and they lost all 4. But not a single one of these games were a blowout. Like they had a chance to win every single one of these deep in the fourth quarter. And like against like an Indiana team who nobody has really competed with this year. Iowa almost took them out. Maybe they would have taken them out if Gronowski doesn't get hurt in that game. But so I mean, it was great to see that in a year of these just close losses against big-time opponents, there was nothing close about this game against Nebraska. I mean, that's on the road, hostile environment, and Iowa, I mean, took care of business big time. So good to end the year with a win. I expect Gronowski will probably play in the bowl game, and this is going to be a tough team to beat in that bowl game. So very good chance to finish 9-4 and probably finish the year ranked. And then depending on who they, what happens in the offseason, very good chance they start next year ranked. And that's where we get into the second bit of good news. So like if you look at this schedule, and obviously they're going to play Iowa State again next year, but Indiana is just a juggernaut right now. Oregon is obviously always going to be a super tough game. USC, the future is looking really bright there. That's a tough game. Penn State happened to not be ranked when they were there, but like you've seen, like now that Penn State has gotten revived and motivated again under their new coach, like this is a good football team and a team that I expect to be ranked again next year. So when you look at their opponents next year, Northern Illinois, Northern Iowa, 2 easy wins. Iowa State, I think Iowa should have beaten them this year. Depending on who Iowa has at quarterback next year, we'll get into that in a minute. I think Iowa has a good chance at least being the favorites in that game. But then you look at the rest of the schedule. Like the 2 that stick out are obviously Ohio State and at Michigan. Those are going to be tough games. Michigan starting true freshman at quarterback is still, they're still 9-2 this year heading into that Ohio State game. They're going to be tough next year. Michigan Stadium, tough place to play. But Ohio State, Lord knows they're going to be a dog again next year, but you never know what's going to happen at Kinnick Stadium. Good to get them at home. And even if those two games are losses, like they're going to be the underdogs going into both of those games. Just the rest of the schedule, the way it breaks down, like Illinois was a solid team. If you're playing at Illinois this year, that's a tough game. But next year, they have so many people graduating. Like Luke Altmaier is going to be gone. Gabe Akis is going to be gone. I think Illinois is going to go back to being more like a 6 or 7 win team next year. And then Nebraska might be decent next year. We'll see what happens with them. They hit the portal pretty hard last year, but again, that game's going to be at Kinnick Stadium. Nice to have 4 games in a row right here at Kinnick Stadium. Like, there's a good chance you see Iowa start Big Ten play 4-1 and then head to Ann Arbor as potentially a top 15 team. And then after that game against Michigan, you got Minnesota, which I think Iowa's going to be better than, Northwestern, who's never very good, and then Washington, who on the road, that certainly could be a tough game. But when you compare that to this year's schedule, where you play, like, you had Penn State, you had Oregon, you had USC, you had Indiana. Like, those are 4 brutal games, whereas next year there's really only 2 where you look at the schedule and be like, yeah, that's going to be a tough one. So, I mean, depending on what Iowa does in the offseason, I think a 10-2 season next year is certainly within the realm of possibilities. Looking at the quarterback position, it seems likely that Hank Brown is going to be the guy unless they hit the portal. He is a redshirt sophomore, I believe. You saw him a little bit when Gronowski went down against Indiana. You can't really take anything from that UMass game. UMass is horrible. And obviously things weren't beautiful against Indiana. He did move the ball a little bit, but the fact of the matter is a lot of players this year had horrible games against Indiana. Like, you look at Luke Altmaier, a senior, had an atrocious game against them and got blown out. So the fact that Hank Brown was able to, like, keep that game close and move the ball a little bit as a redshirt sophomore just getting tossed in there, who knows? Like, maybe he'll be solid this year. I know, I think the big thing they're going to miss from Gronowski, because, like, if you look at his numbers, his passing numbers really aren't that much more impressive than some of these other quarterbacks Iowa has struggled with the last few years. But I think it's just his ability to run with the ball, to make good decisions, and to just move the chains on third down with his running ability. That was huge for Iowa this year, and that's something they're definitely going to miss. So it'll be interesting to see, are they going to hit the portal again and try to bring in another Gronowski? Are they going to roll with Hank Brown next year? We'll see. You guys let me know what you want to see happen with both the quarterback situation and everything else Iowa in the offseason. And then just give me any Iowa thoughts you had on this season. Like I said, Aaron and I, we just like talking football with you guys. And then don't forget, just like and subscribe on your way out.